Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. One of the fragrances I have had up here on my shelf is Froot Loops. I've been putting off making it because I really wanted a Froot Loop mold and I was going to have to make it myself. And in the behind the scenes video this week, that is exactly what I did. And today I am going to make my Froot Loop soap, but because that is a trademark name, I'm actually going to be calling my soap a bowl full of sugar because that is what I think Froot Loops actually are. So let's go and see how I make it. Alright, so let's get started with this soap. I've got my oils here down to temperature and I've got my sodium hydroxide distilled water solution here. I'm going to pour the two in together. In fact, before I do that, because I want this to be a white soap, I'm going to add my titanium dioxide now to get the white base. Now I've added it to my oils because as soon as I have used this lye bucket, I'm actually going to refill this up with some lye for the next soap. So I don't want to have any of that TD in that jug. So it won't actually mix properly in here until we get this sodium hydroxide in here. So let's get this one mixed. So I'm going to be keeping this soap very, very simple. What I'm going to first of all do is put my fragrance oil in. I got this one from off of the Fragrance Shed. I'm a little bit concerned. I got it from there because all the Australian versions of this fragrance do have vanillin in it. The Fragrance Shed says it has none, but I've got a feeling this is Nature's Garden Fruity Rings, I think it's called, and it says it has 1%. So 1% I can work with. This should just go quite a nice milky colour with that titanium dioxide, but we'll just have to wait and see what actually happens. We'll get that fragrance oil mixed in there, and that has thinned my soap batter out wonderfully. This has got notes of lemon, lime, grapefruit. There's some lemongrass, lily, verbena, and it's on a base of vanilla sugar. And this really does smell like Froot Loops. I get that kind of wheat sort of smell out of it as well. I'm not sure where that actually comes from in terms of the fragrance notes that are in here, but I get that real cereal sort of smell from out of this fragrance oil. It is nice. It is playing nicely in this soap batter, so that is absolutely wonderful. Now the reason I'm going to keep the base of this very, very simple, I want that to look like milk. And then I have got all these soapy shreds. I was looking at them the other day and I thought it would just be really good to make something like Froot Loops, and then all these little bits of soap shred through the white should hopefully look like bits of cereal floating through the milk. Now I'm hoping, yes I did, that I got my oils the right way round. I have had to take into account all these soapy shreds. I have reduced my oil for my batter by 200 grams, and that just takes into account all these soapy shreds in here, so I don't get a, or hopefully don't get a mold that is overfilled. Let's get all this mixed through and then we'll pour it into the mold. Now for as much as I actually can't stand Froot Loops as a breakfast cereal, this is smelling really, really nice. I hear people talk about this one all the time. I've put it off because honestly, I know so many people love them, but Froot Loops to me, oh, I just can't stand them as a breakfast cereal at all. They're just too sweet and sickly for me. That is looking good, so let me go and grab the mold and we will start to pour that in. Has gone really, really fluid, so I'm going to have to leave it sit here probably for about 10 minutes and then I will come back and we will put the embeds on. So this has set up enough that I can now put my embeds on, and you can see I have started to do that. I have got this box of brightly coloured Froot Loop pieces which I've made with melt and pour soap. If you want to see how I actually made the mould and then made these pieces, go and check out the link up in the top right hand corner and it will take you to where I have done these. I am going to put a whole heap of music to this because I've been trying to film this for probably the last hour, and I've had hubby trying to wash his car, he's now watering the garden, I've got people who are grinding concrete, and it is just very, very noisy. So let's get some music on while I put all my Froot Loop pieces in. everything seems to have settled down in the street now. Everyone's kind of disappeared into their homes and stopped making so much noise. So now I can actually tell you a little bit more about what I learned while making this Froot Loops pieces. So I was actually interested to see what colours actually were in Froot Loops when I was first making them up, and I discovered that when Froot Loops were first brought out in 1963, they were done in 3 colours, and that was red, orange and yellow. And it actually wasn't until the 1990s that they brought out the blue, purple and green colours. So that's actually quite a recent addition to the to these. I always remember seeing Sam the Toucan advertising Froot Loop cereals when I was a kid, but I think I have got as many on here as I can possibly fit, so I'm not going to try and put those ones on. There is the top of our Froot Loop soap, and I'm going to leave this one sit overnight, and then we'll come back and we'll cut it open and see if that confetti makes it look like bits of Froot Loop floating through milk. Let's cut into Froot Loops. Look how bright and cheery and colourful that one looks. Now I'm also going to admit, guys, that the fragrance on this has changed overnight. From out of the bottle, to me, this really did smell like a bowl of wheat cereal in it. And then you just got little bits of that sort of sweetness come through. But now that it has sat and cured, when I actually unmolded this, I was hit with this really, really sweet aroma. And not sickly sweet, it was a nice kind of sweet, and it kind of lost that wheat sort of smell to it, and it really does smell great. Now I'm not going to go and get myself a bowl of Froot Loops to eat, but this soap does smell pretty good now. Let's take a look. Alright, so let's grab these 2 from off the end here, and here is the inside of our Froot Loops. It really does look like there's little Froot Loops floating through a bowl of milk. I am so pleased with how that's come together. Really pleased that I've got absolutely no glycerin rivers in there, despite just using titanium dioxide as my base in this one. So really, really pleased that I decided to make a confetti soap for my Froot Loops. Absolutely loving how bright and cheery it is. It smells so good. Really pleased that I finally made this one. I actually bought this fragrance oil ages ago, and it's been sitting there mainly because I needed to make the mold to make my Froot Loop bits with, and I kept putting off buying the silicone because I wasn't a fan at the start of the fragrance, but I'm pretty glad I have done it, and I'm really loving it now. Now when I put this one up onto the website, it is going to be called Bowl Full of Sugar, and that is because really I shouldn't be using the Froot Loops name as it is actually trademarked. So if you are looking for this one on the website, look for it as Bowl Full of Sugar. So I hope you have enjoyed watching how I made this soap using all my soapy shreds. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. If you've got any questions, I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And until the next video, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you then. Bye!